Python sets can be used to store multiple values into a single variable. In Python, sets are not ordered, and also you cannot edit the elements in the set. Rather, you can either take them out or make additions. In today's video, we'll be discussing Python sets and some basic concepts. Stick around. And of course, again, we have our Jupyter notebook where we've opened up a new project we call Python sets. Now, to declare a basic set, there are two methods that we can use to declare a set. So let me just declare a variable called variable sets. And in this, the first method is using a regular curly bracket to define your set. And the curly bracket, you can insert your elements. Now, in Python, sets are not ordered. As you can see, if you run this, you see that when I created a set, airplane was the first object, and then jet, fighter jet, rockets, and then parachute. But when you run it, you find out that what was first still remains as airplane, but jet now goes to the second index. Fighter jet, which was the second index, has become the first index. Rockets, which is the third index, has become the fourth index. Only airplane, which is the 0th index, actually remained the same. Okay, now that you can make an addition to this set using the add method. So have this add method. What do we add to this? Let's add rockets. Rocket jets, whatever it is. Yes. So rocket jet has been added to the list of sets. The same way you can choose to delete an item from a set. Now there are 2 or 3 basic methods which you can use. You can use the remove method. You can use the discard method. You can also use the pop method. So to use the remove method, the same set. Come here. So let's just say we want to remove rocket jets. Run this. You see that rocket jet has been taken out of the set. Now we can use the discard. Discard jets. If you run it, jet has been taken out. Now let's see an example of the pop method. The pop method. Now the pop method takes out the last item of the set. So the last item of the set was parachute. You see, but this is one other thing about sets. You really don't know what's going to come out, because now this set is unordered. So when I run it with the pop method, it kind of randomly takes out something. Like if you look at the previous, we saw parachute was not even the last on the list. It was the second index, and now parachute is taken out of this, leaving us with the rest. Okay, so that's one thing you need to note. Now, going back to the first 2 methods I mentioned, which is the remove and the discard method, talking about deleting items from a set. Deleting items from a set. Now, the difference between the remove method and the discard method, one major difference is that in the remove method, if you're trying to remove an item that is not existent, it will bring an error. But in the discard method, if you are trying to discard an item that is not included in the set, it will not run an error. But if it is included in the set, it will just discard the item. To show a simple use case of that, let me go back to the set we've created, and just for good measure, run it again. Now, let me try to remove something that does not exist. And also let me try to discard something that does not exist. Dot not. What should I discard? Anything. I'm discarding anything because anything doesn't exist in that stuff, right? So what would this be? So you see, anything does not exist, so there's nothing to discard. So it simply prints out what we have. But let's assume instead of using discard, we're using remove. Remove method. When we run it, gives you an error because there is nothing to remove. So that's one basic difference between the two. Also, in a Python set, you can add two different sets with two different values. If I declare a set, two sets have been declared here. One is kids, one is variable kids, and another is adults. I can choose to run the update method, and just simply update kids with adults. If I run kids, you see that kids has been updated to include the values from adults. In a very similar way, you can also add a set. Actually, you can add a set and a list. Okay, so I'm going to just define a list. And just run the same exact code I ran before. So what I'm trying to do here is I've declared two variables, but one of them is a set, the other one is a list. So here I'm adding set to list. Okay, and if I run this, you see the set has been updated to contain values from the list. Also, in Python sets, you can choose to run through the sets just like a list. So I'm going to borrow from our initial variable again. All right. So I can just write a simple for loop for x in variable sets. Let me just do a basic print x. If you run that, so it prints all the values in the set. So that's it for today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and comment on this video. Until we meet again, bye-bye.